Mark, from your reporting, it seems as if these things sometimes heat up about a month and a half later. What I'm talking about is the autopsy reports. It takes a little bit of time because, sometimes Democrats or Republicans, when there's a loss, it's a little bit of shell shock, but then there's a little bit of like, oh, here's what went wrong. Is that the case? And I'm not as interested in that question, but at least what are you gathering from the Democrats that are starting to put together the diagnosis of the autopsy of what they think went wrong this election cycle?
First, can I give you a little advice?
Yes.
I think you've underbooked AmFest. I think you need to book more people.
I agree.
I don't think there's enough people.
We're waiting for a couple. We do not have enough
waiting
talent
for more.
coming.
All right. That's good. Very impressive.
Right.
You're right. It's usually not right in the immediate aftermath. The sort of historically, the big event is this thing they do at Harvard called the campaign managers. It's been going on for decades. And that one just took place. I think, I say this with no disrespect, just a factual matter. I think, as best I can tell, the Democrats are near 100% denial about what went wrong. They're almost entirely avoiding holding Joe Biden accountable for his contributions to the loss, Kamala Harris for her contributions, the Biden-Harris record for the contributions. And then I think most significantly, in collusion with the media that they've been in collusion with about all of this stuff in terms of trying to stop Donald Trump has been a failure to look at the shortcomings the Democratic Party had during this election with voters, right? Mm-hmm. Ronald Reagan talked about the three-legged stool: national security, economics, and social issues. It's true that Republican Senate candidates lost in a lot of the key Senate contests, but at the presidential level, the Democratic Party is defined in a way that they continue to be in denial about. The Democratic Party is much further to the left than it's been in decades. And their autopsies, their ruminations do not include, in the main, discussions of those four issues. And I think that's a big mistake. There are lots of reasons why Donald Trump won and Kamala Harris lost, but those four are, I think, the main reasons. And I haven't seen any discussions of that so far. It's good that they're loyal to their bosses. That's a good trait. But if the party wants to have a real reckoning about what went wrong, and they just want to fall back on, we're not as good as messaging, or the Republicans are tougher than we are, I think they're making a big mistake because they're not getting to the heart of it.
It's such a smart point, and I just find this to be a cope. And Republicans do it too, to be fair. Republicans do it too. But Democrats, when they say, we're just not good at marketing our ideas. Well, maybe your ideas are bad, okay? Maybe it's not just a marketing or a presentation issue. Maybe it's the core thing you're trying to sell. It is the greatest DC cope ever that people would say. So what you're saying is that there is not a reckoning yet.
I haven't seen it. I'm not sure we'll get to it. Every campaign that loses is got 1,000 stories about why. And it's not an exact science to differentiate between the little things and the big things, the big causes, little causes. I think when you listen to the Harris senior folks talk, it's gibberish. And they're very good people. I've said about the Harris High Command, most of whom also worked for the Biden campaign, these are not political all-stars. They're Hall of Famers. They're some of the most accomplished operatives in either party in the last 50 years. And for whatever reason, they don't want to be honest about why they lost this election. And I find it, you talk about, the patterns. I've never seen a campaign as reluctant to admit to a single error on the part of either the candidate or the campaign in my career. I've never seen it. They will not admit to a single error. And I'm not trying to browbeat them or make them feel bad. But as a journalist, I want to know what happened. And as a party, the Democrats should want to know what happened. And instead, they just say, we didn't have enough time. The conditions were against us. People didn't think the Biden-Harris record was good.
As a MAGA operative, I support their indulgence in their getting high on their own supply. Ignorance.